Okay everyone, we are now firmly in the midst of another international break, and if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of those. I'm guessing a lot of you aren't either. Despite that, we do have a few things to talk about today. So where are Celtic's players jetting off to during this international break? I hear you ask. Well, take a look at this graphic I made earlier. And yes, we have just 8 away over the next 10 days or so. Now that's a pretty low number, but there are a number of players who would normally be away with their countries but aren't due to injury, like Callum McGregor, Liam Scales, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Lewis Palma, Reo Hatate. See, there's a number of them, but we do still have 8 players away. And as you can see there, most of them, as you would expect, in Europe. The 2 exceptions, Alistair Johnston and Dyson Maeda. So we have Greg Taylor and Anthony Ralston away with Scotland. They have friendlies against the Netherlands in Amsterdam and Northern Ireland in Glasgow. Alistair Johnston is away with Canada. They have a 2024 Copa America qualifying playoff against Trinidad and Tobago in Texas. All right for some. Adam Ida away with the Republic of Ireland. They've got friendlies against Belgium and Switzerland, both at the Aviva Stadium. Dyson Maeda away with Japan. 2 World Cup qualification matches against North Korea. 1 leg in Tokyo and 1 in Pyongyang. So a bit of travelling for him to do. Odin Thiago home with the Norway under-21s. They've got a friendly against the Netherlands and a Euro qualifier against San Marino. Paulo Bernardo with Portugal's 21s. Qualifiers against Faroe Islands and Croatia for them. And finally, last but not least, Denmark's Matt O'Reilly. They've got friendlies against Switzerland and the Faroe Islands, both in Denmark. So yesterday we spoke about Celtic's summer trip to the States, United States, for some pre-season matches, and while we kind of looked at some of the monuments and buildings in the graphic that Celtic shared, we didn't really have any actual details about who we could be playing. We now know one of the matches. We will be taking on Chelsea, and that match will take place at the iconic and historic Notre Dame Stadium. Now just look at that for a cool arena. Just shy of 80,000 it holds. And it's going to be pretty neat, I would say, for the team to play there. The match will take place on July the 27th. It will be the final of 3 games we're going to play in the US of A in pre-season. We're still waiting to find out who the other 2 opponents will be. But Chelsea certainly confirmed. Now, I don't have any sources on this at all, but I did come across a thing online from the Manchester Evening News that was saying that Man City would be heading stateside in the summer. Their reporter, Simon Bajkowski, says that they'll be heading to the US in late July for 2.5 weeks. Now, they will be playing Chelsea in Ohio, and the report also said they have fixtures lined up against top European sides in North Carolina, New York and Orlando. Now, if I take you back to the image from yesterday, North Carolina was one of the states that Celtic posted about the Moorhead Patterson Bell Tower there on the right hand side. So I don't know, I could be way off here, but just putting 2 and 2 together, given that City are going to be there and playing a game in North Carolina around about the same time that we'll be playing a game in North Carolina, and given the connections between the clubs, could Man City be one of the other fixtures? Who knows? We certainly know that Chelsea are confirmed, and there will be 2 more matches in the States as well. So that's going to be very exciting. And if you all want to cough up several £1,000s to get me a flight from Melbourne to wherever in America, I wouldn't be against that. Now, changing things up ever so slightly, and for some reason I've got that chewing the fat USA officer swap sketch in my head right now as I go from the States to Crawford Allan. But that's what we're talking about. SFA head of referee operations Crawford Allan is to leave his post at the end of the season to, quote, pursue new opportunities. Yeah. Now, the SFA put this out in a statement. They also said that the departure will, and get ready for some business corporate talk here, affect a review of the existing role and remit to reflect the demands placed on it by the introduction and optimisation. So there we have it. Crawford Allan will be departing at the end of the season. We no longer have to dread him coming out on about 18 different media platforms in the midst of us getting a controversial decision, one that goes our way, but be nowhere to be seen when, one doesn't go our way. Yeah, fond memories of Crawford Allan. Interesting to see that the SFA are also talking about some sort of a review into VAR. Will it make a single bit of difference? Probably not. That's kind of my take on it. But yeah, we live in some sort of hope. Brendan Rodgers has spoken a bit about Reo Hatate and confirmed, as I speculated yesterday, that he is one of the players that we're looking to get up to speed during the international break. Now, we've spoken about the need for a bounce game. Brendan Rodgers spoke about that, I think, on Celtic TV after the weekend game. He has confirmed that Hatate is one of the players that, that game is kind of aimed at. Rodgers quoted as saying, "Yeah, that's the plan. We want to get minutes into Reo and push him on. We'll get some of the players working here, have a game and get some of them up to speed. It's just been one of those seasons. Players have picked up funny little injuries like Reo, who was coming back and then he picked one up with his international team. We've been close to getting everyone back and around it. There was a little period there, but it hasn't sort of happened yet. The important thing is we are still there, still fighting, and still in a really good place. Then we will go into the last leg of the race, which I'm looking forward to. Reo will be huge for us." So Hatate clearly very close to returning, and he's only going to be closer at the end of this international break. The big question now is, does he start our next game against Livingston on that plastic pitch at the Tony Macaroni? Not the best surface to be making your long-awaited return, I would suggest, but we don't exactly have many competitive matches to go before the big derby against Rangers, where we would certainly want Hatate to play some part. I reckon he probably won't start against Livingston. He'll maybe come on for the last half an hour, get some minutes in his legs. Whether he would then start at Ibrox or not, again, I'm not sure. While these are massive games, and Ibrox in particular is a potentially season-defining game, I think, I really want Hatate involved in that, but if it's going to, prove to be detrimental to him and the team further down the line, and he's going to maybe pick up another injury, then, I'd happily have him coming on as a sub in both of those matches. I think he's good enough to affect them. Now, you maybe want to ask me that again on the Friday before the derby, when I'll no doubt be saying, Hatate needs to start, we need him for this game. I totally appreciate that. At the end of the day, this is positive news that he's clearly ready to play a part when we return from the international break. So good stuff. My other quote from Brendan Rodgers before we go is on Mikey Johnston, who, if you haven't heard, is absolutely flying at West Brom. He has 6 goals so far for the Baggies, and he only moved there, a matter of weeks ago. Rodgers told the Herald, among others, that it was, quote, brilliant. I've said before about Mikey's talent. He has been here a long time. Listen, the shirt is a different weight of shirt when you leave here, but Mikey has always shown the talent. He has had a number of years where he has picked up lots of injuries and he needed to get a run of games. I spoke to him in the summer when he was looking to go on loan, and I said stay and get your training right because you've not had a period of training consistently, never mind playing games. He was able to do that. Then he featured in some games for us, and once he trained and featured, it was then about getting him game time. He has gone and done fantastic and shown the talent everyone knows he has. Hopefully he continues with that, and then we can look at it again in the summer. So yeah, still not totally convinced that Johnston has any future with Celtic, but I guess it's a case of seeing how he does for the rest of the season. Can he keep that form up? What will West Brom be doing at that stage? And it certainly seems like Celtic are going to take a look at him in the summer. And that's really all I'm going to say at this stage. We're clearly aware of what he's doing. He's doing very well, but no disrespect to any West Brom fans watching. Maybe there's one. It's a different kind of pressure playing for West Brom than it is for Celtic. For any player, I would say, but especially for, a kid who's grown up supporting Celtic. Very different indeed. But yeah, one to keep an eye on between now and the summer. That's your Tuesday roundup, everyone. I appreciate you watching this video, as I do all the videos we put out. Back this time tomorrow.